The first time Marcus walked into the gleaming glass tower of Evercrest Enterprises, the CEO barely glanced his way. Marcus, a single father with tired eyes and a worn briefcase, wasn't the type of man who commanded attention in boardrooms filled with polished suits and polished smiles. The CEO, Vanessa Hart, was known for her sharp instincts and colder than ice demeanor, always laser-focused on results, never distracted by personal stories or struggles. Yet, Marcus was there every day, battling invisible wars, juggling late-night shifts, parenting on the fly, and carrying the weight of dreams that seemed just out of reach. The world might have ignored him, but his son's future depended on him not giving up. What Vanessa didn't know was that Marcus's story was about to change. Everything she thought she knew about success, resilience, and love. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of unexpected connections, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Select Show. Your support helps bring stories that touch the soul to life. Marcus's life was anything but easy. The day he lost his wife to illness was the day his world fractured into two halves, one devoted to the memories of love lost, and the other to the relentless reality of raising his 5-year-old son, Jamie, alone, with no family nearby and a job that barely paid the bills. Marcus fought an exhausting battle every day. His clothes were often wrinkled, his eyes heavy with sleepless nights, but his heart never wavered. He worked at Evercrest Enterprises as a low-level manager, a position far removed from the gleaming offices where Vanessa made decisions that shaped the company's future. Time and again, Marcus tried to catch Vanessa's attention with his ideas, his dedication, even his quiet pleas for flexibility when Jamie was sick, but she never saw him. Not really. To her, he was just another employee cluttering her schedule. She dismissed his emails, passed over his requests, and rarely even acknowledged his presence. What Vanessa didn't realize was that behind Marcus's quiet exterior was a man fighting to be everything his son needed: protector, provider, and a symbol of hope in a world that had dealt them a brutal hand. Each morning, Marcus woke Jamie with stories of superheroes and adventures, trying to shield him from the harshness that life sometimes showed adults. Each night, he fell asleep listening to his son's soft breathing, praying for strength to face another day. The strain was visible. Marcus's tiredness seeped into his work. His ideas, brilliant in their simplicity and compassion, were overlooked because they didn't come wrapped in a polished presentation or delivered by a confident voice. Vanessa, focused on bottom lines and quarterly profits, couldn't see the heart beating beneath the surface of her overlooked employee. But fate has a way of shifting the scales when you least expect it. One rainy afternoon, as the office buzzed with the usual hum of productivity, Vanessa's secretary hurried in with a message that changed the course of everything. Jamie, Marcus's son, had been left unexpectedly at the office daycare after an emergency school closure. The daycare worker called Marcus, but he was stuck in an urgent meeting and couldn't leave. Desperate, Vanessa found herself faced with a choice: ignore the problem or step in. Against every instinct, she agreed to pick Jamie up. What happened next would challenge Vanessa's perceptions forever. When Vanessa arrived at the daycare, she saw Marcus waiting anxiously by the entrance, wringing his hands and glancing at his watch. But what struck her most was not the worrying on Marcus's face, but the small figure beside him, a woman with gentle eyes and an easy smile, who was comforting Jamie with quiet words and a tender touch. Vanessa later learned that the woman was Leela, a longtime friend and Jamie's godmother, who had stepped in whenever Marcus was overwhelmed. They shared the weight of caring for the boy, a small community supporting a family that struggled in silence, seeing Marcus not as a lone struggler, but as part of a network of love and resilience stirred something inside Vanessa, a mixture of admiration and guilt for having ignored his silent battles. That evening, Vanessa found herself thinking about Marcus's world, about the sacrifices unseen in the boardroom, about the courage required to face hardship with grace, and about the humanity behind the employee she had disregarded for so long. Slowly, Vanessa began to change. She started paying attention to Marcus's ideas, recognizing the wisdom born from life's tougher lessons. She adjusted company policies to accommodate parents balancing work and family, creating a more compassionate workplace culture. Most importantly, she began to see Marcus not as a problem or an inconvenience, but as a person, a father, a fighter, and a beacon of perseverance. For Marcus, the shift was life-changing. He no longer felt invisible in the world where he fought so hard to survive. His son Jamie smiled brighter, sensing the difference in his father's confidence and the newfound respect he earned. And Vanessa, once hardened by ambition and deadlines, discovered a depth of empathy that redefined what leadership truly meant. If this story moved your heart, please take a moment to like and share it. Let us know in the comments how stories like Marcus's inspire you to see the people around you differently. Don't forget to subscribe to Selecho for more stories that celebrate the power of kindness and second chances. Before we finish, I'd love for you to comment below. Have you ever overlooked someone who ended up teaching you the most valuable lesson in life? In the end, it was not wealth or power that changed everything. It was a glimpse into a life filled with quiet battles and unyielding love. Vanessa learned that true leadership means more than steering a company. It means lifting those who struggle to stand beside you. Marcus showed that resilience is not about perfection, but about the courage to keep going for those who depend on you. And Jamie, he grew up knowing his father was a hero not because of the money in his pocket, but because of the heart in his hands. This story reminds us all, sometimes, the people we overlook carry the most extraordinary strength within them. All it takes is a moment of kindness, a second chance, to change everything.